Okay, now working our way back up, but still using an in-close weapon, is elbow strikes. So again, these can be used from here. You've mismanaged the situation, you're in close to the guy, yeah, you're too close to be able to throw an effective punch, or to throw an effective Shuto, or whatever it may be, or you just decide that you fancy using elbows for a change because you've mastered every other technique there is. Not that I have. So you're in close, yeah, you can throw your elbow up. It's a good weapon to use from the side. Somebody approaches you from the side, you can throw an elbow up into their face, into their solar plexus. If somebody approaches you from the rear, you can strike them with the back of your hand or the palm of your heel, strike them here, which automatically, as soon as you do any sort of movement like that, especially towards a man, your body's natural instinct is to bring your head forward to remove this area out of danger. So if he approaches you from the back and you strike him here, you can now raise your elbow up, yeah, which is a good strike, enabling you to turn around before you hit him with some other sort of strike. So elbows are really good. They're also good as a follow-on technique. If you're in close, you've hit the guy, then you pull him round, yeah, bang, you can hit him in here, especially if you're following him up with knees and stuff, boom, bang, any sort of elbow strike is good. Where it's the best place to use them is where it's too close a distance for to be able to rise up a punch and be able to do any sort of damage. Your elbows, just raise your head up, your elbows are nice and close. Yeah, sometimes offer you a better option. Okay, so we're coming down the body. We've done pretty much all the upper half. Now what we're looking to do is concentrate on our legs. Sometimes you're better off using your legs from a distance, but in my opinion, as soon as you lift a leg up off the ground, you're now off balance, and if the person grabs a hold of your leg, they've now got a chance to take you down to the ground, and being on the ground in a self-defence situation is the absolute last place that you ever want to be. So generally, I would only advocate using knee strikes or any sort of leg strike if you're in close enough, yeah, to do any sort of damage and not put yourself in jeopardy. So knees are good when you're in close and you've got them in such a position that you're able to use them again without doing without putting yourself off balance. So again, you're in close, you've hit them, you've pulled them round from this position, boom, it's good to throw a knee up into the solar plexus. As you do, you can then pull them down onto the ground or take them in any position that you want to do. Or if you're in close, boom, a knee to the groin obviously is a really good strike to be able to use. So using the knees is definitely a good thing to do. If you look at Muay Thai, yeah, and they form this grip up round the back of the head, yeah, they're striking into the side of the body, boom, yeah. So performing knee strikes in nice and close is a good way to upset your Okay, what we'll do now is have a little look at the drill for performing knee strikes. Obviously, as judo players, it's very rare that you use any sort of striking techniques. So in order to be able to add this into your usual judo arsenal, is obviously going to improve your chances in any sort of self-defence situation. So what we'll do is we'll only do one, because again there's dozens of different drills that you can perform, but we'll steal one from Thai boxing, which is excellent, which helps you to get your balance right and transition from knee to knee, whilst also being in nice and close. So again, we'll make this lock up behind the back of his head, just by placing one hand over the other and taking a hold of it. Yeah, I'm going to lock him in tight, pull him forward so his head's on either shoulder and knee here. And so on and so forth. Now as we're working our way down the body, we've now come to kicking techniques with the feet. So the first one, which is pretty much the most obvious one in any sort of self-defense situation that everybody knows, is just the basic kicking and groin, which is kengeri, which you're kicking with this portion of your foot, but if you can get close enough and get your whole shin in there, then obviously that is going to be a better thing to do. Now, rather than being like a maigeri kick, where you're raising the knee up and you're projecting your foot forward, pushing your hips forward, this is just really a swing right up into the groin area. Okay, so now a follow on from that is maigeri. So my personal preference is always to kick off the front leg. If you're kicking from the back leg and you bring it up and you kick, then obviously the person's got more time to see that, take a hold of it and leave you on one leg, which leaves you off balance and prone to being thrown. So my personal preference is to be in this position. Yep, I've got my hands up in that usual self-defense position. I bring my back foot up to my front foot, raise my knee and kick forward. Yep, so come first there. So from here, you're kicking forward. So the target for me would be anywhere around the stomach area or the groin, yeah, hoping that what it's going to do is bring his head forward. So as you do, boom, you can follow up with some sort of punching technique before you turn into a throw, if that's what you want to do. Personally, I would just want to get him in there, give him a good kick, a couple of digs, enough to do the damage and be able to get myself away from him. So if this guy here wants to attack me and he's being verbal, he's being abusive to me and he wants to close down the distance, I'm using my fence as best I can, but he sees through it, he feels like I'm trying to control him, and so he wants to barge through and get as close as he can so that he can do the whole intimidation thing when he's nice and close in my face. This might be a good time to be able to use this kick. So we're here as he's walking forward. Yeah, you give him a little dig, it moves him backwards, yeah, and gives you the opportunity to then follow up with some other form of strike. So just simple to practice a kick from any stance you want. Yeah. And so on and so forth. Okay, so this time what we'll do is a roundhouse kick, Mawashigiri. Now I know that in the Kodokan book it doesn't show this, but this is a good kick to be able to take out the inside of the knees. So go and just step one leg first there. So if I'm in this position and I kick this knee to the inside here, what I'll do, just keep your heel in man, what I'll do is rotate the heel out the way, which obviously takes him off balance in that opposite direction. So if you've kicked in here and taken him off balance and you drive right through with a punch, there's every chance that this is going to knock him on his backside, which is absolutely perfect for us because that's what we want to do. Hit him, get him down and get away as fast as we can. So I would never advocate doing any sort of roundhouse kicks any higher than the waist. We're not in martial arts movies and we're certainly not out to look good in the street. All you want to do is as much as you have to do to be able to get yourself away. And if you do big fancy roundhouse kicks, which unfortunately I'm not supple enough to be able to do, there's every chance the person's going to get a hold of them and put you on your back. Okay, what we'll do is, again, we'll practice the roundhouse kick. It does no harm to practice it up at this sort of area, bearing in mind that what you're going to be doing is kicking down. But it's important to learn how to create power in the kick. There's no point in just tickling the person in the leg. You really have to be able to do some damage and give them a good kick. So the main muscle is your hip and your thigh muscle. So what we do is from here is you raise your leg up and you're rotating the leg down in front in that position. Okay, what we're going to do now is have a look at the preemptive strike. When somebody's antagonising you, like this young mad guy, he wants to have a pop at me. If I just put my hands down and I just start talking to him from the side, he's going to take a step into my space, which makes me feel uncomfortable. If you've ever spoken to somebody, in whatever setting, whether it's a bar or it's some sort of meeting or something, and you've spoke to, there's people that speak to you and they like to get really close and whisper in your ear. It makes you feel uncomfortable because they're inside your space. Well, a way to be able to stop that happening is just to be able to put a fence up between the two of you. So just take a step back. So as he's coming towards me and he's doing his talk and he's being aggressive, I know he looks really passive just now, but in general if he was being aggressive, I would keep my hands up here, but what I don't do is put my hands up here which just says stop, do not come forward, I am controlling you. If he feels like he's being controlled, then there's every chance he'll just push right through that, and then that's us into the grappling stage before we've even got to doing any sort of preemptive strikes, if that's necessary. So I just want to control this middle ground. I'm just talking to him here and controlling everything that goes on. Now, when it gets to the point that he's becoming aggressive, I see the hands go out, it makes his body as big as possible in order to try and make me back down. and I can see in his eyes that he's actually going to go for it. He's got to the stage that his sentences have went from calling me all sorts of abusive names to now just going, come on, yeah, or whatever the case may be. I know that he's just about ready to go for the fight or flight. So from there, I'll just take a step to the side and I'm looking to strike him anywhere on the jawline here. Yeah, so from here, I'll ask him a question first. Do you want to try and calm down? Boom, and hit him as hard as I can and as fast as I can, right in that line of the jaw. Now what I want to get is my whole fist right in there. There's a small notch right under here on the jawline. Now that's what I'm aiming for, and I want to hit it up, and I want to hit it as hard and as fast as possible. So from here, right up into the jaw, and immediately I've brought my other hand back to my side to protect myself, and as soon as I've hit him here, I'm going to drop, boom, and hit him right in the floating rib, again as hard as I can. Now he might be a tough guy and he might take this first punch, so if he takes the first punch and he takes a step back, puts his hands up and goes for it, I might be in trouble. So rather than give him the opportunity to do that, I've taken a step to the side which exposes his whole jawline while still controlling this area, asking the question, 1, 2. Yeah. Now hopefully from that, because I've hit him up here and I've hit him in the floating rib, this is going to drop him. If it doesn't, what it will do is give me the opportunity to then go on and hit him with further strikes or take him down and do whatever it is that I'm going to be able to do to him.